welcome back to the 13th Destiny podcast with Magnum. And let me tell you something, after some technical difficulties and some issues going on in the city of Bowling Green on the 1st, which we were supposed to have the show yesterday, and pardon me, we're having some technical right now. Anyway, welcome back to the 13th Destiny podcast with Magnum, and I am your host, James Magnum Cook. And we are back for Season 2, Episode 1. And however, despite all of that from yesterday, it was well worth the wait. And my first thing will be to shout out to the Nashville-based band Side Pony. Thank you so much for the song that you did for me and my support with you through Kickstarter. To be completely honest, that was how we came to know each other. As I've come to know many people through Kickstarter things that I've done over the years, and you are no exception. I look forward to trying to have you on the show later this year, and that's something that I sent to you, and hopefully we'll get that worked out, because I will certainly want you on the show now for sure, so you can be interviewed, and we'll get to know each other a little bit better on the show, and you can promote your upcoming tours, etc., all that. So anyway, again, thank you so much for that awesome song, and you did a very good job on that. Couldn't be happier. Appreciate it very, very much. And as requested at this time, it was shared on your live stream today, and not to be shared out on the direct social media, and I have just shared it with friends and stuff for now. Of course, a lot of my friends are connected in the business as well, so we'll see how that goes, my ladies, but you guys did great, and I really appreciate everything you did for me. So anyway, so that's part of this update show that we're doing as we go into Season 2, about some upcoming guests that I'm working on trying to get. Certainly I would really like to have Side Pony on, both Alice and Caitlin, because they did such a wonderful job for me. And I'm very happy with that, and even was kind of surprised by some of the things they put in it, because they did basically, I told them to do the research, and I left it at them, and they did. Wow, did they do a great job? And they even mentioned how hard it was doing some research, because there was so much stuff out there. But I really liked the song, and I will tell you the title of the song was called "Larger Than Life," and that it was by the band Side Pony in Nashville there. And again, thank you so much, ladies. Really do appreciate that. So as we update the show, they are guests that I will try to have on later this year. Another one I talked to was Southern Missouri's most well-known real crime writer, Sonova Cantrell. Talked to her through LinkedIn. Got to get back with her because a lot of stuff happened right after I talked with her on that, and including the tornado that hit Kentucky. So I will get back with her. So that's some more upcoming guests. I've got a list of guests, but I'm not going to name all of them because I haven't had my full contact back and forth with some of them. But I'll get into one of the reasons that we're going to try to get more guest shows this year is because looking back at the data, the top shows for last year were the ones that had guests on. My co-host, my West Coast co-host, Daniel Long, and of course the pilot show. These were the best shows. Obviously, Miranda Young, the ghost biker out of Tennessee down there, when I interviewed her at the Scott County Jail. Hers is the highest, obviously, because she's probably the most well-known person that we've had on the podcast show at this time. And that did really, really well, and really appreciate that fact that I got to have Miranda on. But the data also showed that there were some really good spikes on some of my travel shows with me, like when I was in California and Texas and some of that. So not all the guest shows the guest shows were the highest, obviously. But there were some of the shows with just me on some of the travel stuff that actually got some really good spikes for being only me on the show. So that's a good indicator. We got some really good following, and of course we have some friends and stuff that follow the show quite well. One in particular has even been mentioned on the show before, and he just recently caught everything up. And I will say that I was really touched by the fact that he was so touched by the unfortunate episode that we had to come back on at the end of last season, when I had basically ended the season for the podcast over the tornadoes and, of course, Teresa Duncan. But right now we're just going to try to move forward and move positive, because life does go on. And it is starting. It did kind of start off with a bang yesterday, but certainly today with Side Pony out of Nashville, for me personally, that was a very positive, and a positive for a lot of other people, because not only did they do a song for me, but they also did some for other people who have also helped them. And that's just one of the great things in this business today, is that we have the ability to do so many different things that we can help each other and get things done that, honestly, in my lifetime, that has changed, where you always had to have so many managers and people involved, and there's still a lot involved, but that's not saying that, people in the business can't help each other out much easier today with so many different things like the Kickstarter, GoFundMe, all that stuff. Everything is so much easier today, and it's kind of in those aspects, it's a really kind of a good time to be working in this, where it's still hard to get some of those breakouts, but certainly Side Pony came together. That's the band that I will have on. I'll tell you a little bit more about them. And they came together. They were both performers. They came together during the pandemic and created this band, and they have done a great job, and I really look forward to hearing back from them and getting them on the show. I think you will enjoy them, and if you have never heard them, they sound really great, and they are absolutely funny too. I get a kick out of some of the stuff that they do. They're very, very, very funny, and I enjoy humor a lot. So the fact that they're able to mix that up is really important. So moving on, today is actually January the 2nd. We meant to have the show on yesterday, and we had some technical difficulties, but it worked out because being able to go and watch the live stream. You can watch that live stream on my Facebook, and there are songs about several people. And again, mine is on there as well. Right now, we're not sharing that out on social media directly at the request of Side Pony, but we did send it to a few friends. And anyway, hope you get a chance to listen to that, as well as everyone else's songs, and also all their humor. They were very funny. At least I think they're funny. So, and I think several other people do too. Having a little trouble with my voice today. The weather has affected it a little bit, but I think I'm moving along pretty good. And we will. I've also, as I said, I have some more guest shows coming up, which will include the paranormal investigators that I've reached out to, a couple of them now that, in addition to Miranda, are friends with me on Facebook and a couple other places. And also some stuff that I have connected with on LinkedIn. But a quick update on me personally on other stuff is that I did decide to take a job and go back to work, working for someone else in my security and investigative type background. Just for, I kind of went for the interview. I'm not going to tell where it's at. If you're on my Facebook or other stuff, you'll know where it's at, or on my LinkedIn. And honestly, after three times of them contacting me, I kind of went, well, you know what? I'm going to go in for the interview, and I was like, I probably won't even take this. 20 minutes into it, I took it. So, well, I guess I'll have to work out my schedule a little bit around the podcast, the filming, everything else that we do. But I will say it's a very enjoyable job, and probably one of the most fun security jobs I've ever had. Again, I'm not naming the company at this time. If you want to check out my Facebook or my LinkedIn, you can find out who I'm working for. But other than that, I'm still working for my own company, still doing that, and still doing the podcast, obviously, and moving forward with all that. So none of that's really being affected by that, and I don't think it will be too much, other than just maybe some scheduling issues. And a big shout out there to Bug. We will be back in Texas in May. I have secured that with my new job. as I've told you, and we will be back in Texas, and I'll be down there with Jay Farrell. We'll be shooting her wedding. If you don't know, Bug is a former cover girl of the Magnum's Models, Magnum Caliber Films Company. She was a few years back, and I met her through another source, through the business as well, and became friends with her, and she was one of my models, and I have hung out with her and her family in Texas, as you may have followed some of my podcast and stuff on Facebook and other things that I have, and it's really good just to be able to do all the kind of things I was able to do for a few months, and I'm enjoying what I'm doing now and back on the podcast and moving forward. And looking at all that data that we looked at, we definitely know that we need more guest shows, and certainly we will work on that. Ironically, my West Coast co-host has been on, and my regional hell here hasn't been yet, but we'll work on that too. One of the things I want to say about my West Coast co-host, when she gets it up and running, she's also going to have her own independent podcast show, and we will certainly be doing everything to promote that as well, because that's what we do. Going back to what I said about the connections and how we were able to do things in this day and age that are so much different than just not that long ago in my lifetime. But it's a wonderful thing to be able to do that. It's a wonderful thing to be able to get support from other people for your projects and help their projects and become friends. And this business, as far as the entertainment business, can be tricky, but it has certainly changed a lot. And it's I'm not going to say that everything is easy, but it's been a lot easier in the last few years than it was when I first started my company. Things were not as easy as they are as far as making those connections as they are now. And that is one of the positive things. A lot of people got a lot of negative stuff about Facebook, and I understand that, and other sites, and I understand where they're coming from. But if it was used correctly for this kind of stuff, and this kind of stuff usually is used correctly, so I will give some credit there, and had maybe got rid of some of the other drama, I don't think we would have had half of the problems that we've had. Because in the entertainment business, it has worked out very well for the connections. And so, I give credit where credit's due, but I do make mention, and I try not to get into the politics of anything, because this is an anti-political show for the most part. I mean, I think a couple of times it may have seeped in a little bit. But overall, in this aspect, it works very, very well. And it's a shame that you can't have everything working perfectly. But that's life. Not everything works perfectly. So we just have to deal with some of those things. Anyway, again, these are just some updates, and we're moving forward. So I think I've got most of the updates. I'm trying to think here. So this is just kind of an update show as how we're going to go forward in 2022. And I've got one other thing. I have decided that if you would like to be on the show, please contact me. If you follow me, or you're in any of the things that are our top things, like the paranormal, the writers, the models, the photographers, aviators, the thrill seekers, any of the stuff that's in the original bio for the show, please feel free to contact. And bands, singers, obviously Rick Ryman was on, and obviously I'm going to have Side Pony on as well. So anybody that wants to promote their stuff and be on the show, be interviewed, or I reach out to them as well, feel free. I don't know if I can always get everybody on. We'll see how this goes. Obviously, we have gotten a lot more following than I was expecting, and but that's a good thing. And I want to make this show even more positive and keep moving forward. And I can only do that with all your support and support of the people that are out there that want to be on the show, or I reach out to be on the show. And that is certainly something we're going to do a lot more of. And, of course, my regional co-host out here, I'll be meeting with her soon. And she will also be doing some things behind the scenes that will hopefully also bring in some additional guests. So we are working on this. I had a great first season. I certainly enjoyed doing the travel shows, even though those were solo for the most part, except for when I brought on Danielle Long, the West Coast co-host, and that show had a very good following. and still gets very good feedback on that. So that's where we're at. I just wanted to give you that update. I love every one of you, and I hope all of you are having a much better 2022, and I hope it'll continue to be a better 2022 than it was in 2021. Things happen, but let's move forward. Let's see how positive we can try to make this year to the best of our abilities against all the things that we had go wrong in 2021, especially out here in my region of the country. But we weren't the only ones about things that have happened over the year. So let's just try to be as positive as we can, and hopefully have some really positive shows and move forward. And again, I am your host, James Magnum Cook, and I appreciate you listening, and may God bless every one of you. Have a great evening, morning, or whatever it is where you're at. It's kind of evening here with me, and it is now snowing in Kentucky, although it's not really bad in my region. All right, goodbye, everybody.